In this video, I'm going to give you guys an ICT Silver Bullet strategy that actually achieves a 75% win rate. I'm going to give you my exact credentials for entry, as well as all of the other higher time frame credentials that must line up in order for you to enter with this strategy. It is extremely mechanical and extremely simple. A monkey could trade this strategy, and I'm not joking. Not only this, but you only need 1 hour a day to trade the strategy. You can 100% make this work with your 9 to 5 workday. I'm going to simulate trades over the last month with FX Replay and show you exactly how the strategy works and show you how I backtest all of the strategies that I use. I must stress that it is extremely important that you test all the strategies that you use before going live. It is essential to your psychology to have the confidence and see the data for yourself. And that's why I use FX Replay to do just that. And I'm going to show you guys in this video right now. Let's get into it. All right, everybody. So we're here on FX Replay and we're going to create a new session. All right. So we're going to go and give ourselves $100,000. Okay. That's $10,000. We're going to give ourselves $100,000. And then we're going to hop onto Euro USD, which is one of my favorite pairs just because the spreads are low. And yeah, it just has really nice price action, and I've tested it out and it works really well. We're gonna go like a month back, go till today, and then yeah, we can just call it Silver Bullet, right, and then that's it. Like, we are going to trade $100,000 simulated account, and then yeah, let's hop into it. So it will create the back test right now. It'll take us to that date as well, and we'll go back in time. All right, everybody. So as you can see, we have a $100,000 account here. Everything is fully like simulated, which is really nice. You can also hide the nav bar, which is a little bit nicer. Right. So we are here on FX Replay. Now, one of the best features in my opinion is when you go to the go to button at the top here and go to custom settings. I like to just have New York session here because that's the session we're trading from 10 a.m. to 11. So I'll have it start at 10 a.m. And what this means is if you've got everything unchecked, the stars are all off except for New York sessions star. So essentially what that means is that you can go to and click on New York session, right? And then it will just take you to the next New York session, just like that. And there we are at 10 a.m. New York session. Right, so let's hop right onto the strategy. It's really simple. All you're gonna do is go onto the 1 hour time frame and look at the 9 a.m. candle. It's that easy. And you mark the highest point of the 9 a.m. candle, okay? And you mark the lowest point of the 9 a.m. candle, just like that, okay? Then you're going to go down to the 1 minute, all right, and wait for the 9 a.m. candle to be swept, okay, just like that. It gets swept, and then we're looking for a displacement in the opposite direction. We do not need a change of character, and then we enter on the fair value gap that is created through this displacement, okay, and I will show you how that looks right now. So we've had a sweep of that 9 a.m. candle, right? We have not yet had a fair value gap in the opposite direction, and we have now had that fair value gap with a nice push to the downside. Here is our fair value gap right here, okay, the first fair value gap in the opposite direction, okay, and that's what we are trading. We will then place our entry at the bottom with our stops just above the high, okay, and we will target 1.6 risk reward. All right. With FX Replay, all you need to do is click on your risk reward tool and go to place order. Place order then allows you to select your risk. We will always risk 1%, which is $1,000 out of our $100,000 account. So with all of the stuff happening in the prop firm industry recently, there's a lot of people that are looking for alternatives. And the prop firm that I've always used is Blue Guardian. It's pretty simple. They have a trustworthy record. You can chat to anybody that's used them in the past and you will struggle to find anybody that has anything negative to say. So if you're looking for a prop firm that is recommended by myself and that I've personally withdrawn over $18,000 from, Blue Guardian is the one that I recommend. Use the link in the description below and use the code GUARDTRADES to get 10% off your evaluation with Blue Guardian. We then click save. and there you go, our order is on. So now all we do is go make sure you're on a 1 minute increment here, as we're on the 1 minute time frame, and let's see how this plays out. So we get tagged in, and there you go. We then have made $1,600 roughly, and that's it. Okay, 1.6 risk reward. And what we can now do is simply go to, at the top bar here, New York session. It's that easy. We're now on to the next New York session. All right, we then rinse and repeat, go to the 1 hour time frame, and we can then mark up our 9 a.m. candle once again. We then mark out the lowest point, and we mark up the highest point, just like that. We then go down to the 1 minute and wait for one of those to be violated. We then look for a displacement in the opposite direction. So we've had a violation, we're looking for a displacement and a fair value gap. We don't need any changes of character, which does tend to complicate things a little. All right, we then continue to look for our FVG, which is right here. Okay, as you can see, we've got our FVG right here. Okay, and we're going to mark up our position, which will be right about here, with our stop just below. Okay, we're then going to target 1.6 risk reward, just like so. Oops, that's not enough. And then we're going to go to place order. Okay, 1% once again, save. There's our order placed, and let's play it forward. There you go. It did play with us a little bit there. We do not move to break even on this strategy. Okay, you can if you like. It's all up to your testing, but personally, I don't like to move to break even because you end up, leaving a lot of profit on the table. So let's go to the next New York session. Right, so on the next New York session, you can see there was a big news event right here. Let's go into the 1 hour. So generally you want to be a little bit careful with that. We're going to mark up the lows right here. Now when there's a big news candle like this, we really cannot trade this because, for example, let's see here. So here is our fair value gap. We've had the sweep, but this candle is massive. I cannot try and capture this massive move with a stop loss that is like 13 pips big. That's just not going to be practical. As you can see, we're looking for a move that's going to take us like 2 days to get. Okay, so I'm going to ideally look for, price to move down a bit more and give us a fair value gap that's a bit more reasonable and a better risk reward ratio. Okay, so let's just play a price forward and see if we've got that. So price did go down quite a bit more. Again, we're looking for a fair value gap in the opposite direction. Do we get, okay, so we get one there. And now I'm going to look for the long position. All right. Again, this is our fair value gap here. Stops just below. We've got like a 4 pip stop, which is so much better than trying to trade this massive candle. All right. Which in a lot of cases does still work out, but really you do not want to be putting yourself in that position of trying to trade with an unfavorable risk reward. All right. So what we've got here is a position that has 2 fair value gaps, one after the other. Here's one, and here is the other. Right. Now in a position like this, I will take off this position, and I will now mark out, okay, the average of this, which I use the OTE to determine. Okay, now the OTE entry is simply the Fibonacci with 3 levels: 0, 0.618, and 1. Those are the only ones that we have checked on the Fib retracement tool. You can then click OK and make them whatever colors you want. All right. And this gives me a more of an average type of entry. Okay, rather than taking either the top one or the bottom one, it allows us to get a more overall position that just tends to work out with a better risk reward. Okay, so we've now got this as our entry. Okay, it continues a bit more, so we would now adjust. I need to remember to put my entry on. So right here, let's just see. Okay, no, it carries on a little bit further. Okay, Okay, we're now retracing. So now I'm going to put my entry right here. Okay, I've now got the entry sitting here. We want our 1.6. Okay, go to place order. Once again, our order is placed. Okay, we continue a little bit further. So I'm going to adjust this a little bit more. So once again, we're going to take our OTE tool, right, or aka Fibonacci, and then I'm just going to move this up a little. Okay, and we cancel the previous order and place this right here. All right, and just like that. Okay, again, we're going to need to adjust this. It is a bit of a pain when it comes to these OTE entries sometimes. It is what it is. So let's move it up, place this here, and place this just below. All right, we do have to recognize though that right here it has moved quite a lot without us. So but this is still within my plan. It's still quite corrective, so let's see how this plays out. So let's see. Can we get tagged in there and tagged out? So that is a loss for us. So what we can do is potentially look for another, but I'm just going to go to the next session, just purely because you can see how crazy it's moving to the downside. I really don't want to get involved, and we're moving towards the end of the session as well. You could, if you wanted to, because it's taken the lows once again, you could as well potentially get into a position like so, but it's not really. We're almost at the end of the session, and you can see how violently it's moved down, and this is going to be a very small stop loss. So I'm going to go to the next New York session. Ideally, we want to be taking one trade a day, really. So now we're going to go on to the 1 hour. Okay, once again, we're going to then mark up the 9 a.m. candle. All right, and the next 9 a.m. candle. We're then going to look for the violation, which has already happened with a big candle. So hopefully we can get a good risk reward on this one, unlike that previous instance. Okay, we're continuing lower. We're looking for something in the opposite direction, and there you go. Right, so there's our fair value gap. We can now enter like so, stops just below, and we're looking for 1.6 risk reward. Okay, place order. Okay, we continue going forward. Are we going to get 2? Yes, we get 2, but now this is a massive candle. We're now retracing. So as you can see, we've got a fair value gap here and a fair value gap here. Okay, and another one on top of that, actually, right here. Okay, so that means that we're going to use an OTE entry. Okay, what we're going to do is mark it out like so. Okay, let's get rid of this. Okay, and that's going to be our entry. All right, so we're now going to put our stop just below and target 1.6. Okay, place the order. All right, so this one might take a little longer to play out. We literally just got missed there. We're still within our time, so let's see if it plays out for us. I think everybody will agree that backtesting is very, very important, and collecting data on your strategy is critical to having the correct psychology around trading. And that's why you need a tool that helps you collect data and get all of your statistics in order so that your mindset can be right. That's why I use FX Replay to help me collect data and build statistics around my strategy. You'll see me using it in most of my videos, and there's a reason for that, and it's because it's just excellent at tracking data, and you don't need to sit and input data into a spreadsheet like a robot. So if you're looking to make your backtesting a whole lot easier, I recommend FX Replay. Get yourself 15% off the subscription with Garland15 as the code, using the link in the description down below. Yeah, so this is after. Did it tag me in right now? No, it did. I'm gonna cancel this now because we are after time. You'll most likely see that this does play out anyway. Just let's see. Okay, well, it doesn't play out, but we did get very close right here to being tagged in, and then we did eventually get tagged out far outside of the outside of session. So we cannot be being tagged in after session. So let's go to the next New York session. So we go into the 1 hour time frame, and we're now looking for our entries. Okay, so right here you can see there's an entry right here. Our liquidity point right here and here. We've had price sweep already, and we are looking for price to displace in the opposite direction. Okay, is there no, there's no fair value gap there. And we continue lower. Okay, there's our fair value gap right here. We will place our entry at the top of the fair value gap. Stops just below, and we target 1.6 risk reward. All right, let's place the order. Okay, so we've got multiple FVGs. All right, so what do? We use our OTE entry. Okay, so just like this, remove the previous one, and that will be our position. Okay, so we enter on the 0.618. Okay, it's moved up a little, so let us adjust a little. Okay, cancel the previous one and place the order once again. Okay, let's see. Okay, we tagged in now, all within session. And it's okay if the trade runs out of session, but it cannot be tagged in outside of our 10 to 11 a.m. window. So there we've got a win. So currently we're up about 4%, which is not too bad. Let's go on to the next session. All right. So now, once again, it's the same thing over and over again. All right. We now are looking again at the 9 a.m. 1 hour candle, mark out the highest point and the lowest point. We then go on to the 1 minute, and we look for a violation of one of those points. We had that right here. Okay, did we have an FVG? We did right here. Okay, hopefully we can still get tagged into this because we moved a bit too far forward. So this right here would be our entry, stops just above this, and we're looking for 1.6. Okay, so let's place the order. Okay, did that tag us in? Yeah, did. Okay, there you go. Another win. So we go off to the next New York session, back onto the 1 hour, and we mark the high, the low, sorry, and the high of the 9 a.m. candle right here, and go to the 1 minute. Okay, so we're looking for the highs or the lows to be taken, and there you go. Now we're looking for the fair value gap in the opposite direction. Do we get one before 11? Maybe, is that one? Yep, there's a gap right here. So as you can see, this would be the gap right here. Okay, so we would enter right here, stop just above, and we target 1.6 risk reward. Okay, sometimes I give it a little bit extra just because sometimes spreads, but also I don't want to take ages trying to measure out this exact thing. So there you go, tagged in, and there you go. So there's another winner. We're now on 7%, a little bit over 7%. Let's go to the next New York session. Let's see if this, so if we were doing like a phase 1 of a challenge, let's see if we can pass that real quick, see if we get a winner on this one. So once again, this is the 9 a.m. candle, same thing over again. We then go onto the 1 minute, and we've already had a break of the high. Is this an FVG for us? Nope. That gap is closed. And here is our FVG. Okay. So we will place our order like so. stop loss our risk reward is 1.6 risk reward, and there you go. Okay, so now we've got multiple FVGs once again. So once again, we use our OTE entry once we have multiple FVGs. Where are the FVGs? We've got one over here, okay, and we've got one below right here, okay. Well, it'd technically be right here, and it's been tapped into already. So that would be where our entry would be. However, we can see that this is even lower actually. So let's see if we go, okay, we're coming back. So essentially our entry would be right here, okay, and then we're targeting 1.6, okay. Let's place the order. Okay, we're continuing a bit lower. We're still within our time, so let's adjust our OTE. Okay, adjust the stop loss right here. Remove the previous one, and there you go. Okay, tagged in there. And there you go. So yeah, we're now onto 9%. Should we try and go for 10%? Should we try? Because yeah, I mean, it's going really, really well. The win rate on this is very, very good, and I've tested it quite thoroughly. I've done quite a few tests on this as well, and I suggest you do the same before even considering taking anything live, etc. Make sure you do your own tests, but as you can see, it does really, really well. So let's do one more. How about that? Let's do one more. Where are we right now? There we go. So we're now on to the next day. Go on to the 1 hour, and we are simply going to look for the 9 a.m. candle, mark out the highest point and mark out the lowest point. Okay, and then go down to the 1 minute. We're then going to look for our displacement in the opposite direction with a fair value gap. Okay, nothing yet, and there you go. Okay, so there's our fair value gap and a displacement in the next direction. We do not need that change of character, just remember that. Let's just make sure this is correct. Looking for about 1.6, and there you go. Let's see. Okay, tagged in right here. Oh my word, that was very close. Now you see how sometimes being, oh, okay. Wow, okay, that was a roller coaster of a ride. We got very close to our take profit, and then came back very close to our stop loss, and then yeah, we ended up getting, I mean, it's debatable whether this would have hit anyway. Could have hit our stop loss here. Also, I did put an extra bit over here on, and I did move this in a little bit to give a buffer, so it's debatable which one would have happened here. You could also mark this as a loss, but it does show up as a win right here. So let's have a look at our analytics, which is another reason why I really like FX Replay. So you just go to show nav bar and then go back to our dashboard. We then select the session we were just in, which should come up now. We then go to analytics. We click on the session we were in, and we go to analytics. It's now going to tell us what our analytics was like, and we actually had an 88% win rate on this. But I mean, we've only done 9 trades, so that's why I'm conservative and said it was about 75% in the description, and that's just over the testing that I've done. We've got a obviously 1.6 risk reward because all of our trades are like that. It says here that our ideal risk reward is 3.98. So within these 10 trades, obviously if you've taken like 100 trades, this will be a bit more accurate, but that's what it says the ideal is, and you will get you know, a better overall profit if you do this. So again, we have 8 winners, 1 loser, and it also gives you here what your average risk reward is. It's going to give you a ton of different information as well. It also tells you per month what you made. So in September we made 3%. Obviously we started towards the end. October we made 7.1. So really good. Also obviously it tells you which sessions are good. Obviously we only traded New York session. So a lot of very useful information. Again, another very useful thing is you can see on Mondays we had a 50% win rate. Okay, obviously we've got a much smaller data sample size here, so it's difficult to say, but once you've got like a few hundred trades in here and you toggle between these, you can actually see which day of the week is best to trade on. All right, obviously for this purposes of this video I don't have a ton of data in here, but it just shows how valuable this alone is. All right, so yeah, I think it's a really awesome tool, and the strategy overall really performs extremely well. So I would go and test it yourself if I were you. So yeah, that's it for today's video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did and you found value in it, the best way you can do to show me that is by clicking the subscribe button. Most of you aren't subscribed, so I'd really appreciate it if you do. If you enjoyed it as well, please do comment below and let me know what you thought. And I'll see you in one of my next videos. Cheers, everybody.